You think you're in control of your life. But the truth is, there are invisible forces within you shaping your desires, your fears, your choices. And no, this isn't mysticism. It's deep psychology. Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in modern psychology, uncovered something profound. Inside all of us, there are ancient structures as old as humanity itself. They're called archetypes, and they appear in every culture since the beginning of history. You might believe you choose who to love, what to pursue, or what to fear. But many of those choices are being shaped by an unconscious pattern you're not even aware of. These patterns wear masks. Some are heroes. Others are rebels, caregivers, explorers, rulers. Each one desires something, and each one hides a fear. But one of them dominates your life. And discovering which one could be the key to understanding why certain patterns keep repeating, why some goals feel just out of reach, and why you face the same challenges, even when you thought you'd already moved past them. Because when you uncover the archetype that lives in you, you gain clarity about your relationships, your behavior, your inner blocks, and start to recognize the pattern that's been guiding your journey all along. This video will show you exactly how it works, with real-life examples, famous characters, and everyday situations. And by the end, you'll be able to identify your dominant archetype and begin, for real, to write your story with far more awareness. Have you ever caught yourself making the same mistake again? Or felt like something inside you sabotaged you right when you needed to act? Ever had the feeling that you're living a life that doesn't quite feel like yours? There's a reason for that. And it's not in your horoscope or just yo. It's in the archetypes. Knowing which archetype is running your life is like discovering the source code of your behavior. Because the truth is, you're not always choosing. More often than not, you're being chosen by invisible patterns. Patterns that have been repeating for thousands of years. They show up in myths, stories, movies, religions, and they keep shaping our actions, relationships, decisions, even the things we think we want. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious. It's as if we're all connected to an invisible database where ancient characters live, and they know how you'll act, even before you do. These characters are the archetypes, and when you discover which one is dominating your life, you stop living on autopilot and start truly to choose. Choose what to embrace, what to transform, what to heal. This video isn't just about psychology. It's about you. It's about understanding why you are the way you are. Why you keep being drawn to the same kind of people. Why you sabotage the very things you want the most. Why you fear being seen or not being enough. And if you stay with me until the end, here's what you'll walk away with. The 12 most powerful archetypes that shape the human mind. How to recognize them in others, and more importantly, in yourself. And how to use that knowledge to live with more clarity, authenticity, and purpose. This is the kind of insight that changes how you see the world. And over time, it can change how the world sees you. Imagine that inside you live characters. They don't appear in the mirror, but speak through your choices. They say yes when you feel you should say no. They make you stay when everything inside you wants to leave. And the most surprising part, you didn't create them. They were already there, waiting for a chance to take control. These characters are the archetypes, and the first step to understanding who you are is to recognize them. Let's start with the innocent archetype. The innocent believes the world can be good, that life can be light, that if you just do everything right, things will work out. Their deepest desire is to live in peace, to be safe. But the price of that purity is vulnerability. Forrest Gump is a classic innocent. Even surrounded by wars, tragedies, and injustice, he keeps faith that everything happens for a reason. And it's this innocence that transforms everyone around him. But when the world wounds the innocent and reality shatters the veil of naivety, they risk losing themselves entirely. Do you know someone like that? Someone who always tries to see the silver lining, even when everything is falling apart. Now, if the innocent believes, the next archetype has long since given up believing. The orphan archetype. This is the one who's already suffered, who's fallen, who's realized that the world isn't always fair. It's why they learn to be strong, independent, and sometimes overly cautious. Simba, from The Lion King, embodies this archetype. After losing his father, he runs away, feels guilt, hides. But deep inside, all he wants is to belong, to find his place in the world. The orphan fears rejection and often tries to fit into places that don't appreciate them, just to avoid feeling alone again. Have you ever felt like you had to manage everything yourself, even when you were falling apart inside? Then this archetype might be guiding you. But some react to pain in another way. They fight. The hero archetype. This one lives to win, to overcome, to prove they're capable. They enter the battle even when they know they'll get hurt, because they feel there's something they must achieve. But they also carry a silent fear, the fear of failure. Wonder Woman is the perfect image of this archetype. She faces immense challenges, but never abandons her purpose. Driven by justice, by honor, and by a deep wish to protect the world, even if it costs her own peace. The hero wants to be strong, but often forgets that true strength is embracing their vulnerability. Do you feel like you always need to be in control? Like you can't afford to stop even for a second? Then maybe the hero is living inside you. But not everyone wants to fight. Some want to care. This is the caregiver archetype. They live to protect, to love, to ensure others don't suffer, even if it costs them their own well-being. Think of Marlin, Nemo's father. He's experienced terrible loss, and that's why he tries to control everything. He cares so deeply that it suffocates. He loves so much that he forgets himself. The caregiver carries the world on their shoulders, but rarely receives care in return. If you're the person everyone turns to when they need help, this may be your dominant part B. But there are those who don't settle for the world as it is, who feel a calling to go beyond. The explorer archetype. This one refuses to stay confined. They crave freedom, authenticity, experience. They search for meaning, and often they find themselves along the way. Elizabeth Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love beautifully illustrates this. After a personal crisis, she leaves everything behind to go on a journey of self-rediscovery. The explorer wants more than comfort. They want truth, but this constant search can be isolating because the explorer is always caught between what needs to be left behind and what's yet to be found. Have you ever felt like you needed to disappear to find yourself? That where you are might not be where you belong? Then this archetype might be steering your steps. But what if that restlessness turns into anger? That's when the rebel archetype appears. The one who looks at rules and says, "Why should I follow this?" The rebel rejects what's imposed. They seek change. Sometimes, they want to destroy everything to start anew. Tyler Durden from Fight Club is the extreme face of this archetype. He sees a hollow, consumerist world and decides to blow it up, literally. The rebel can be a liberator or a destroyer. It all depends on how they channel their pain. Do you feel like you need to break away from something? That you weren't born to live like everyone else? Beware, because the rebel can be both freedom and a cage. And then we have the lover archetype. This one doesn't desire power. They don't want control. They want to feel, to love, to fully surrender. Rose from Titanic captures this intensity perfectly. Trapped in a constricting life, the lover longs to experience something real. And when they find it, they dive in. Do you feel like you're only whole when you love? That life only makes sense when there's deep connection? Then the lover may be your strongest archetype. You might already be recognizing parts of yourself in these stories. And yes, we all contain a bit of every archetype. But there's always one that speaks loudest, one that's steering our lives, even when we think we're in control. And discovering which one that is like turning on the lights inside a map you didn't know you had. In the next part, we'll explore the remaining archetypes, how they are grouped, how they balance each other, and how you can identify your dominant archetype in a practical way. Maybe you've already recognized yourself in a character, perhaps in the lightness of the innocent, or in the courage of the hero. Maybe you saw traits of yourself in the caregiver, the explorer, or even in the lover's intense devotion. But the story doesn't end there. There are other equally powerful archetypes living within you, and the more awareness you have of them, the more tools you'll have to handle real-life challenges. Let's continue this journey into the human psyche. There's an archetype that often disguises itself as humor, sarcasm, or a joke. But beneath the laughter lies sharp wisdom. This is the jester archetype. It's not just the clown. It's the one who can laugh at themselves and the world without losing sight of what truly matters. A perfect example is Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. He seems aimless, but he knows precisely where he's going. He uses humor as both weapon and shield. The jester teaches us the importance of living more lightly, but also challenges us not to hide our pain behind jokes. Another fascinating archetype is the creator. This one lives to express, to turn ideas into reality. They can't just consume the world, they need to build one of their own. And no one embodies this better than the eccentric Willy Wonka. His imagination brings to life a whole universe where every detail mirrors his mind. The creator sees beauty where no one else does. But they also carry the burden of self-criticism and perfectionism. Their greatest fear isn't failure. It's creating something mediocre. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine someone who spends their entire life in pursuit of one thing: truth. This is the sage archetype. They don't settle for surface answers. They seek depth. They want to truly understand. Think of Neo from The Matrix, an ordinary man who gradually awakens to a far greater reality and must make choices no one else could make. The sage shows us that knowledge is power, but it can also be a burden if not wielded with compassion. In the same realm of depth, but with a more mystical touch, lives the magician archetype. This one transforms realities, sees hidden patterns, manipulates the unseen, and does it with purpose, or at least should. Dumbledore in Harry Potter is the classic example. He's always a step ahead, perceiving what others can't. His actions are guided by a larger vision. But the magician must stay vigilant. The same power that heals can also control. The challenge is to align ethics with ability. And now, the final archetype on this journey, but by no means the least important: the ruler. This one builds kingdoms, organizes chaos, makes tough decisions, even without consensus, but also risks becoming overly rigid. A perfect embodiment is Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada. She commands, demands, and leads with surgical precision. Through her, we see how a ruler inspires, but also how they challenge those around them. The ruler reminds us of the importance of responsibility, strategic vision, and the weight of decision-making. These archetypes don't operate alone. They are grouped and balanced. Some reflect our deepest emotions, like the lover, the caregiver, and the jester, who live in the realm of affection and connection. Others push us into action, like the hero, the rebel, and the ruler. And then there are those who dwell in more abstract dimensions, seeking wisdom, transformation, and expression, like the creator, the magician, and the sage. Noticing which archetype is active in you at any given moment can be the key to breaking repetitive patterns. It can help you step out of autopilot, understand why certain situations affect you so intensely, and what you can do about it. But more than knowing, you need to feel. Pay attention to how you react, choose, feel, and ask, who is making this decision inside me? That awareness is what transforms. Because when you identify your archetypal patterns, you gain freedom. In the sequence, we'll go deeper. You'll discover how these archetypes show up in different life stages, how they balance each other, and how you can consciously activate other archetypes to face specific challenges. Recognizing which archetype is active in you at a given moment can be the key to breaking recurring patterns. It can help you step out of autopilot, to understand why certain situations affect you so deeply, and what to do about it. But more than just knowing, you need to feel. Pay attention to how you react, choose, feel, and ask yourself, which archetype is making this decision inside me? The archetype that dominates your personality today may not be the same one from 10 years ago, or the one that will emerge 10 years from now. In childhood, for example, the innocent archetype tends to be more active. We believe in goodness, trust the world, dream big. But as life unfolds, with its losses, frustrations, and heartbreaks, other archetypes step in. The orphan shows up when we feel abandoned or betrayed. The explorer rises when something inside us longs for freedom. And the hero awakens when we need to prove ourselves. Each phase of life is like a stage where different archetypes take the spotlight. But it's not just time that brings them forth. Contexts do it too. A difficult relationship can activate the wounded lover, or the rebel who's tired of being silenced. A new project can awaken the creator. A health crisis might call on the caregiver, and often the sage. And here lies a powerful key. You can learn to invite archetypes. Afraid of making a big decision? Maybe it's time to consult the ruler within you, the one who knows how to lead. Paralyzed by uncertainty? The sage can help you see more clearly. Burned out from giving too much? Maybe it's time to speak with the explorer and remember what sets you free. The more you understand these archetypes, the more emotional and psychological tools you gain to face the challenges of real life. It's like having an entire team living inside you, and now you know each member's name, strengths, and vulnerabilities. This not only deepens your self-knowledge, it transforms your relationships. Because when you notice which archetype is active in someone else, you begin to understand their language, what they need, what they're trying to protect. And that builds bridges, not walls. This level of awareness takes you out of autopilot and puts you behind the wheel. Now, with clarity about who you are and who can support you from within, you can truly begin to write your story with presence and purpose. Throughout this video, you've seen that archetypes aren't just beautiful concepts from psychology. They're lenses through which you can understand yourself with far more clarity. But identifying your dominant archetype is only the beginning. Because the truth is, you're not just one. You are an entire system of internal forces. And at different stages of life, different archetypes take the wheel. Sometimes it's the rebel who gets you out of bed and says, "Enough." Other times, it's the caregiver who makes you put someone else first. And in moments of crisis, maybe it's the sage who whispers silence when everything inside you wants to scream. Understanding this changes everything. You stop judging yourself for being confused, contradictory, ambivalent, and you start to recognize yourself as a complex, evolving ecosystem, deeply human. The real shift happens when you realize you can speak to these parts within you. You can listen to what the creator is trying to express, or what the ruler wants to organize. You can give space for the magician to intuit, and at the same time, teach the hero how to rest. This kind of knowledge, when truly embodied, reorganizes the way you live. And this is only the beginning. If you want to go even deeper, don't miss the next video that's about to show up on screen. There's more insight waiting for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.